On this scramble, Rom kind of messed up. He made the bar with the yellow, and then he like did a bunch of moves and inserted green and got like an L3 case. I couldn't really reconstruct it. Some things I think you could have done better was after you made that bar, you knew that you had to insert this, I assume, from what it looked like you wanted to do. So instead of rotating, inserting this, rotating, and then doing L4E, what you could have done that's a little bit better is rotate this way and insert like that, and that will have your solved edge here, your unsolved edge here, so you don't have to do a second rotation. You can just go right into the alg. On the scramble, Rom does yellow. He solves the centers like this, and then inserts green, inserts blue, and then he gets a 2 flip, which he solves like that. Okay, so the biggest issue on this solve is that you didn't do any block building. You just went straight for solving the centers and then each edge one by one. In this case, you could have seen that this green-blue edge can be matched with the green-blue center with just a U move. And then you can just solve this center and that center, and then go ahead and solve that, and you get L4E. And that saves you like 2 rotations and a couple moves, and then you can just do L4E like normal. So yeah, just try to block build at least 1 bar, if not the whole V. Okay, so on this scramble, Rom does yellow. He sees that this red-yellow edge is already paired up and that it can be easily made into a bar like that. And he solves this center, inserts yellow-blue, and then he gets a 2 flip, and he doesn't recognize that it was already solved, so he undoes that and does that again. I think your V solution was fine for your level. I would start learning more L4 realgs because I think that can really help you get better. So for example, in this case where you have a flipped edge on bottom and a flipped edge on the top, instead of rotating and doing a 2 flip, you can do, if it's on this side, you can do a sledge and then insert. Or if it's here, you can do a hedge and then insert. It doesn't really matter which one you want to know, if you want to know both of them, or if you just want to use a single algorithm for this at this point in time. But I would definitely start using side 2 flips because it's a lot faster than rotating. On this scramble, Rom does red. He starts by solving the centers, inserts that edge, rotates, inserts that, and then gets a really nice L3E case. Once again, on this scramble, you didn't block build. If you wanted to do red, you could have seen that this edge, if you wanted to bring it down, you could have brought it over here and then brought it down so it matches up there. Or what I would recommend trying to find is cases where the edge can be paired up with the center in 1 move. So in green you can do that. But this I don't expect you to have seen, but this is really nice on yellow. With you can pair that up. This edge is already in place for when you bring it down to create the V. and in 4 moves you just get a sledge. On this scramble, Rom does red. He starts off by solving the centers, inserts this edge, takes out this edge, then inserts it, inserts this edge flipped, and gets a 2 flip. So with the beginning of your solve, when you got to here, you should have inserted this red yellow edge first, because you can do that without rotating. But after that, when you inserted that edge, you still could have inserted this edge here, like that. I don't know why you decided to do this edge, because that takes a ton of moves. And then afterwards, when you did L4E, you inserted this edge flipped. I assume it was to try solving like this edge, like because you tried solving the back edge. But what you should start doing is learn intuitive L4E, because forcing 2 flips is not something you want to be doing. Another big issue I see in a lot of your solves are the way you solve tips. So you kind of use like your whole hand to solve each tip instead of like using a finger. Pyraminx tips these days are pretty easy to move, so I would recommend starting to learn some finger tricks for the tips, because that'll save you a lot of regrips and like rotations for trying to solve each tip. Something I recommend is just solving all the tips at the start. That might not be comfortable for most people. That's just how I solve them, and I've never had any issues, and I think it makes the rest of the solve a lot more fluid. But if you do want to solve like tips mixed, then try solving at least 1 or 2 at the start and then 1 or 2 at the end. I would try not to learn, like, you can try to learn stuff like this too, where if you're going to do a U and you have to do a tip, you can like slice or something like that. Alright, so recommendations I have for you are to learn intuitive L4E and to start watching some Pyraminx walkthrough videos. I would start with Daniel Goodman's L4E trainer and his walkthrough videos on intuitive L4E, because I think he explains them really well on how to recognize cases and like figure out what to do. After that, I would start to try getting a bit more advanced and learn like algorithmic L4E once you can kind of like figure out good cases, because some cases are pretty hard to figure out on your own. Like this case, the intuitive way of figuring it out is to like just do a hedge or sledge to do that, but you could just do something like that, which is a bit more advanced, but I think it's definitely worth it.